regardless of where this decoder goes, we're going to have just enough room to squeeze that in. This now is a game changer for those who model in TT120. Big hello to you, it's so great to see you and I hope I find you well. I'm Jenny Kirk, welcome you up here to Weir Yard. Now we've got a short video for you today, but it's really quite interesting because we've been very lucky to have been given one of the pre-production samples of the all-new power bank from Hornby. And this came off the back of our visit down there where we filmed a number of videos, did a load of interviews. But you might remember on the Monday Club just gone that I showed you the all-new design of the Hornby power bank for the HM7000 decoders. This is an exclusive pre-production sample of the all-new smaller Hornby power bank for HM7000. You can actually use it with regular decoders. I think you just cut the plug off, make sure you've got the polarity right, and it will work then, but the plug makes things so much easier. It's been made a little bit smaller, and the reason for this is because the TT120 models and the small shunter models that really would be the biggest beneficiaries of having a power bank in there just were too small a fit for the larger style power bank that was first released. Now that sold through, it was incredibly popular, so Hornby have decided to listen to a lot of the people clamouring for a smaller version, and that's the version that's coming next. And I'm really thankful for being given the opportunity to do an exclusive look at this, and we're going to be comparing it with the older style power bank just to see how the performance differs. Now I know it's become a little bit of a thing where people boast about how far their locomotives go when you take them off the track, put them on a workbench or something, and you just watch them chug along completely independently from the track. But that's not what power banks and stay alives are actually supposed to be about. Therefore, getting the locomotive over momentary dead spots are things like insulfrog points and also just dirty track as well. And no matter how clean you keep your track, over a running session there can be just little bits of issues, and particularly shorter wheelbase locomotives, often some quite light ones, are the ones that really do struggle under these situations, and that's exactly what this all new power bank is designed to do. So I'm going to be doing a test with these and basically using masking tape on the track to simulate the mother of all dead spots and just seeing how far these go. And certainly as well I'm going to be running it with the sound on as well, and I'm actually using the class 91 profile, which at the time of recording has not yet been released, but by the time you see this just be aware that 3 new profiles will be up on HM7000, and they're going to be the class 423 4VEP that we did a what does it sound like on this channel quite a little while ago now. That's finally made it through testing, and one of the issues with that has been sorting out icons in the app. And we've also got the class 91 and the Mark IV DVT, and there's an update to the HM7000 app to be able to just iron out a few little glitches that have been being worked on to resolve, and it will also mean that these profiles will work perfectly. But we're here for the all-new Hornby power bank. It's got the same R number, by the way, if you're interested, if you're wanting to go look for it, R7377. So if you're wanting to order it, we do have a link down below taking you to where you can find it, currently on pre-order. I'm told that they are currently in manufacture, so they shouldn't be that far away from the shops. But let's get on and put the all-new design Hornby power bank to the test. Today's video comes in association with Trainomatic, makers of DCT decoders and accessories that are designed by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. Find the full range available to order now at tramfabriek.co.uk. Additional support comes from...
This is Clark Railworks, and this is what we do. You'll know us from Ellis Clark Trains, and you'll get the same friendly expertise with us too. We've got a huge range of pre-owned model railways from all your favourite manufacturers, and maybe some you hadn't heard of before. It's the place to come for quality. We don't stock substandard models, and everything we sell is fully tested and photographed by model railway experts. No matter whether you model double O gauge, N, HO or more, We have sought after models from all around the world, with new listings added every weekday. Check out what's available now at clarkrailworks.com and don't miss out on your latest logo.
And don't forget to hit that like button, share this video and subscribe to the channel if you're not already done so. You can also find our full merch store down below, and you can also head on over to Patreon to help support the channel to keep making these videos that you want to see. When Hornby launched their HM7000 range, one of the items that proved extremely popular is the plug-in solder-free power bank. And this acts the same as a Stay Alive and just gives the model the ability to keep going without any stuttering. For example, if it's going over insulfrog points or if it hits any dirt in the track, and it's just a really great way to get trouble-free running. Now, these proved incredibly popular and the demand for these quickly outstripped supply. And you can't really blame Hornby for producing a product that everybody wants. Certainly, it couldn't have been envisaged right at the start that these would prove to be just so popular. So unfortunately, for a little while, these have been out of stock, and people have been asking, when are new stocks coming through? Well, they're actually manufacturing them right now, and hopefully they should be in the UK in a fairly short space of time. And I've been lucky enough to have been sent from Hornby one of the new versions of the power bank, and as you can see, the power bank has got a little bit smaller, and the reason for this is because actually this proved to be a little bit tricky to get into some of the smaller locomotives that really did need that extra bit of energy to keep them running, and that kind of defeats the object of having a really easy to use plug-in power bank for the range. It also meant that anybody who's running TT120 locomotives was struggling to be able to fit them in. Now, this is the TT120 locomotive that we reviewed on the channel. It's the A4, and it's actually one of the larger, more generously sized TT120 models. And the problem with this is that once we get the next 18 sound decoder into that, which will fit, it is designed to fit, there just isn't enough room to be able to get this power bank in with it. And if you were to force it in, then unfortunately what it would do is it would splay out the sides of the tender and would mar the aesthetics of that, even if there is enough room for it to slide in there behind the decoder. So a lot of the TT120 modelers in particular have been crying out for a plug-in power bank that does the job for them. And it's also going to be really great use for things like the Hornby Class 08 diesel shunter. Now, I know quite a few people have managed to get the larger power banks into those, myself included. It does involve taking out the cab floor and doing a little bit of modification, which I know a lot of people maybe don't feel confident about doing. All they want is something that you plug in and it just works. So this new power bank from Hornby promises to be the next step, which will really bring the power and performance of one of these to a larger number of modelers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my test chassis, which I use for beta testing of Hornby HM7000. And this is actually a Class 29 model that's had the body taken off just for ease of access. And actually normally this would sit in there, plugged into the decoder, and gives actually quite a lot of run on. And a lot of people might be saying, well, why make it smaller? This is great. Well, you only really need this to get over momentary introductions like insulfrog points or dirty spots in the track. And amusing though it was to charge up a locomotive and get it to run along a plank of wood completely away from the rails, it doesn't need to actually be able to move quite that far. So the new version of the power bank is something which will still give the smooth performance that people are wanting from their locomotives and fit in a good deal more. I'm going to be test fitting both of these into the same locomotive, and then I'm going to run them just as I did on one of my previous reviews, where I'm going to put some masking tape onto the track and then just see how far the locomotive chassis here will run up that masking tape. Now I'm going to try it with and without sound because obviously the amplifier in here, when running the sounds, will use a bit more current. So I'm going to try it with the largest current draw and just see how well it performs. And then I'm going to swap out for this power bank and just see what the performance difference is. As an aside, just for the information, the R number on this is remaining the same as HM7000, and this new power bank is going to be effectively replacing the older one in the range. Now, for those who might say, well, actually, I really want that more powerful power bank, what Hornby have said when I've asked them is that never say never, and if demand is definitely there, then there is scope to reintroduce this to the range as an additional power bank. And I personally think that that would be a good thing to do to give some choice to modelers, and certainly I found these to be invaluable in O-gauge models that I fit the HM7000 into, which do draw more power. Fitting the power bank into the model is exactly the same process as before. Let's get it into the socket. Make sure you orientate it the right way round. We've got some little lugs on there. You can look into the socket and just see which way up that's supposed to go. Got it lined up, firm push, and that's in just as it was before, and then this will quite happily fit into the body of the locomotive and run just as it did before. There's no need to set anything up. It's just plug and forget. When it comes to fitting these into a TT120 model, then it's again quite simple to do. These take a Next 18 decoder. Now I don't actually have a spare Next 18 HM7000 decoder to hand, but with previous videos I proved that they're actually smaller form factor than the ESU lock sound decoders in 21 pin. So I'm going to use that as a placeholder in here, and there's plenty of room at the back for the Stay Alive to carefully fit. There's a little bit of room in there, so regardless of where this decoder goes, we're going to have just enough room to squeeze that in. We can then bundle the wiring neatly around, get any excess out of the way, and then we can put the tender lid back on, and that is going to fit in here. It's going to be a tight fit, we're not pretending otherwise, but this now is a game changer for those who model in TT120. I've got my test track ready, so I'm using masking tape to isolate the locomotive from the track, and I'm just using that back-to-back gauge just as a marker for me, so that in both tests with both the new and the old power bank I can start the locomotive from exactly the same spot. I've got a alpha test meter just down here, and that's really just so I can make sure that the power bank is fully charged each time. Essentially I just wait until the high peaks settle down, and then I know that it's got a full charge. I've got the sound profile on. It's actually the class 91 sound profile. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give this some speed. I'm going to give it speed step 10, and I'll just see how far it gets. So we've got a baseline there for the first test. I'm going to mark with pen just on the masking tape, level with the rear buffer beam so that we can get a comparison. And what I'll do now is I'm going to run the same test 3 more times just so that I can average out, just make sure that the power bank is performing pretty consistently. And then I'm going to swap it over to the older style power bank so I can get a comparison between the two. So I've got the power bank changed over, so you can see the older style power bank is on here now. I've had the locomotive charging up for a bit, and I'm just going to make sure I get it in the right place, and then I just give it speed step 10, and this will give us our comparison with the smaller, newer power bank. So you can see it does go further, but where on your layout are you going to need a locomotive to be able to get that far off the power? And if anything, that adds its own problems. If you get a locomotive that derails and therefore no longer responsive to the DCC signal, it could actually go quite some distance and cause shorts or other kinds of damage, be able to actually even get far enough that it fouls another track and causes a lot more problems. So the smaller power bank clearly gives you still a run-on, which is important to keep your locomotive and train moving, keep the sound functioning, but not so excessive as to bring with it different problems. And of course, the smaller size is going to be most welcome for those people who want to be able to install these on locomotives where it matters, such as shunting locomotives, and for those people who are using TT120. Well, I hope you enjoyed that and found it really informative. And of course, a big thank you to Hornby, who very kindly sent me away from Margate with one of their early samples to allow us to be able to put together this exclusive first look video. And certainly, if you really do want to get your pre-orders in for these, they're sure to prove popular, just like the last batch were. So get it ordered, don't miss out. We've got a link in the description box to help you find these for sale. Get the orders in because they're sure to sell out quickly. A really popular product. And also do hit the share button as well. I'm sure there's a lot of modelers out there who'd appreciate being able to be given the opportunity to know that we've done this video and to be able to see just what they get in the box. And I think this is going to be a game changer for some of the smaller locomotives. Whilst the Hornby 08 diesel shunter is one that I have managed to fit HM7000 plus the old style power bank in, it did involve just a little bit of work getting the power bank into the cab, and it's not for the faint of heart, and you do have to remove things like the seats. And I know that there's a lot of people out there who maybe just a little bit nervous about doing that to a model. So this new smaller power bank is really going to make fitting that into these an absolute doddle. It's also going to be great for TT120 users. This is an area where they've been clamouring for a long time for a power bank that they can use with that restricted space in their models. They can certainly get the HM7000 decoders in, but they haven't been able to get the larger style power bank. So this is going to be a game changer for them too. And looking to the future as well, we've got the non-sound decoders certainly in the pipeline. They were announced early on from Hornby. They are being worked on, and the hope is that we're going to be seeing these suitable for 6-pin models. So those of you who've got things like the Sentinel diesel shunter, the 6-wheel version, the B2 Peckett, and also the Terrier as well. This is going to hopefully be something that you can get them over onto the HM7000 app and have a just plug and play power bank to make them work. But I'd love to hear from you in the comments section down below. Do leave a comment. It's a great way to share your experiences and just what you think about these power banks from Hornby. Is this something that you're really looking forward to? Maybe you're a TT120 modeler. Do share your thoughts. And it's also a great opportunity to share your experience and knowledge with your fellow enthusiasts to help them out. So if, for example, you've managed to find ways of fitting power banks into locomotives where space really is critical, then do share your findings and let people know how to do it. It's a great way to help out your fellow modeler. Please like, share and subscribe, and until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying you take great care of yourself. Happy modelling. Bye for now. Today's video comes in association with Trainomatic, makers of DCC decoders and accessories that are designed by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. Find the full range available to order now at tramfabriek.co.uk. Additional support is provided by...
This is Clark Railworks, and this is what we do. You'll know us from Ellis Clark Trains, and you'll get the same friendly expertise with us too. We've got a huge range of pre-owned model railways from all your favourite manufacturers, and maybe some you hadn't heard of before. It's the place to come for quality. We don't stock substandard models, and everything we sell is fully tested and photographed by model railway experts. No matter whether you model double O gauge, N, HO or more, we have sought after models from all around the world with new listings added every weekday. Check out what's available now at clarkrailworks.com and don't miss out on your latest logo.
I'd like to thank everybody over on Patreon, and an extra special huge thanks goes out to our Patreon heroes. Without you guys over on Patreon, we really wouldn't be able to keep making the video content that you see on this channel. And don't forget that you can also head on over to patreon.com/Jennifer Kirk and check out the different tiers of rewards. Thank you so much. You are absolute legends.